Hey YouTube, how's it going? I hope everybody had a good Christmas, holiday, whatever you celebrate. I'm back with another video. It's been a little bit, there's been a ton of life stuff going on that actually so much, so I'll probably do a video on just to update everybody on life and probably some car stuff too. But I wanted to get out a quick video regarding these Subispeed headlights to give you kind of an update and overview, as it's been a couple months since I've had them, and just wanted to update you on how they're doing. Before I begin, my DSLR is out of town, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to focus on these lights. I'm gonna do my best. This is more of a point and shoot, but I think it should still do the job. Let's get started. So let me start off by saying the lights are working. And they've been working pretty flawlessly when it comes to the electrical of the light itself. So I'll get to that in a second. But right now the parking lights are on, and what that does is it puts the boomerang light on, as well as this yellow or orange parking light on the side. That will not be on when your DRLs are hooked up and running. It will just be the boomerang. I think this is a whole, legal reasons this has to be on when your parking lights are on. And then to answer some quick questions I've gotten in comments, I got the non-sequential lights because they were cheaper. So when you get the sequential lights, these will turn on with your turn signals sequentially. Now, what I couldn't find an answer to when I was shopping is, are these still turn signals, but just not sequential turn signals? The answer is no. These do not do anything except glow white if you buy the base lights, which do not include the sequential package. Those will not blink, they will always be just that, which I'm perfectly fine with. Another question I've gotten is, how far does the light stick out? Because it does stick out a lot more, the housing itself, than what the old headlights would do. So the old headlights would pretty much follow this curve for the most part. I think they would stick out a tad. They do stick out a lot more, as you can see, but I don't notice them much. Even when you're looking at them from this angle, I don't think it looks that awkward, or that it creates any other awkward angles on the car. I think some people didn't like it, but it doesn't really bother me too much, so I'm not too concerned about it. And here's a quick look. You probably can't see it too well, but a quick look with the headlights on. There's nothing really to notice. It all looks pretty normal. I think there's just some, dirt and everything coming through that, which is creating this reflection right here. But the headlights look fine. The low beams seem a little bit high, like they shine a little higher than I think I would like. The cutoff is usually towards the tip of a trunk on the car in front of me. So probably slightly before it hits the top of a normal car trunk, say like a Toyota Camry, which I would like it to be almost a tad lower, but luckily it shouldn't be shining in people's eyes. But I would still like it if it was a tad lower. Here is the cutoff on the side of my garage. This probably won't give much good perspective, but the cutoff line is good. It's just slightly high, but you probably can't see that in this video. And the last thing I want to comment about is the DRLs themselves. Like I said earlier in the video, the lights themselves have worked flawlessly if you exclude the DRL harness itself. I think it's a problem with the harness, not the lights, so it's not super concerning. But I hooked up the harness. It worked for about a week or two, where you had no lights on, and the boomerang would sit as the DRL. Now, it works about once out of every 4 times I turn on the car. I'd say 25% of the time the DRLs are running. I think it has something to do with the harness just not having a good connection, because there was one time I was driving where one of the boomerangs was on, the other was off, just in DRL mode. So I think there was a connection between those two, because you have to wire the harness between the two headlights and then to your fuse box. So I fiddled with it a little bit. It hasn't really changed much. Again, the harness is like a $5 piece of wire. You could probably get another one if you wanted really cheap. That's the only problem I've had. Honestly, I've only been driving the car in the dark because I'm going to work at 7:30, I'm leaving at 6, and it's winter and it's always dark when I'm going to work, coming home. So it has been a problem. Basically my headlights have been on, or at least my parking lights, to get the back tail lights on while I'm driving. So I'm not too concerned about it now. When it gets a little warmer, I'm gonna fiddle with it again. Again, I think it's only a problem with the harness, so it shouldn't be a big deal, because the lights have worked flawlessly outside of the DRL harness, running it that way. So when it's just in parking light mode, works perfectly with the boomerangs. When it's in full on mode, works perfectly. And you can see the reflection of these lights in the cars in front of you when you're kind of at a stoplight, so I can always see when they're working or not. And additionally, I think the boomerangs are pretty bright, even when it's kind of sunny out. They seem good amount of brightness. Obviously, I'm in the car, but even pulling up behind cars, when it's really bright out, you can still see the reflection pretty well in the car in front of you. So I think from that perspective, they do shine a good amount of brightness for summertime or sunlight. Besides that, guys, there's really nothing else to say. I think I covered most of the items. If you want to see the install, I did a quick install on it. It wasn't really a walkthrough, but just kind of me installing it. Be sure to check that out. If I missed anything or you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them with anything you guys have. But like I said, the big thing to take away is the lights themselves have worked flawlessly. I think it's just the harness, which is the wiring, which is like a $5 piece of wiring, that it could be me not connecting it well enough to where it won't go in and out. I'm gonna probably look at it again when it gets warmer and reconnect it and see what that does. But besides that, it's working great. So I'm really happy with the purchase so far, but of course I'll keep updating you if anything changes, anything happens with these lights. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching.